Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell with HotNewHipHop.com here at the intersection in Grand Rapids, Michigan with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on? It's the kid, Bizzy Crook. What's up, man?
Great to meet you, man. Definitely.
Hey, likewise.
Definitely appreciate your time. Now, to the untrained eye, it may seem like you just popped up on the scene, what with the recent freshman nomination, your video being played on MTV Jams and 106 in Park, and this 20-some city tour with Kid Ink as well. But you've actually been at this for quite a while, and I suppose you could even say that Patience was, at least at one point, kind of the foundation of your career, because wasn't your first song over Ray J and Lil Kim's Wait a Minute?
Yeah, man. That was the first record I basically took together an old boombox and took cassettes from my father, and then stole like my little sister's microphone for her karaoke, and kind of figured out how to record. And I somehow record. I don't remember. I was young, but I figured out how to just record a song. I was like 8 years old.
And why that song in particular? Like, how'd you come across it?
I don't know. I just like the beat.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that was the first rap I ever wrote.
Yeah, and with that having been produced by the Neptunes, did you ever get a chance to mention that to Pharrell when you were in the studio with him and Nelly?
No, I didn't. Nah, but one day I definitely will.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, I know that your mom was never too keen on the idea of you becoming a rapper, wanted you to go to college instead, like most moms, I would imagine. But maybe it was just a bad first impression because, if I'm not mistaken, your first time playing that song for her was on the way to Domino's. And was that the same one that had something to do with vomit? Because that doesn't sound too appetizing.
No, well,
you're about to grab a bite.
Well, no. The vomit was the first rhyme I wrote. Like, I opened Microsoft Word, and right after hearing Eminem and wrote a word, I said something like I spit like vomit, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But that was just that. Now, the Wait a Minute was the first song I attempted to record. And she was surprised that I learned how to do that.
Right.
But as far as being a rapper, she just wasn't keen on it because, my mother's from DR.
Yeah.
And, if you know the Dominican Republic, like they have, she grew up with nothing.
Right.
So, she came to this country and, the last thing she wants her son to do is chase something that she doesn't think he's going to do. She'd rather me go to college.
Right.
And, I just fell in love with it that day, and it just, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say that I'm glad you didn't let that lack of support deter you.
Yeah,
and apparently neither did getting kicked out of your former group. What went wrong there?
Man, I don't know. I just like to work a lot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just kind of off doing your own thing, or?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was called at all?
Yeah, do I? Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there like any bad blood between you guys?
Nah,
keep in touch at all?
Not at all. It's all love.
Okay, fair enough. And here you are after all. It's not over till the fat lady sings, which you actually know all too well, right? Because wouldn't your dad make you go with him to operas when you were little?
Yeah. My father used to make me go to operas with him, and I used to just hate going. Like, it'd just be me alone. And, like, I'd be with my friends, and he'd be like, all right, it's time to go to the opera, and I'd have to get dressed up and go.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there for 2 hours, sometimes fall asleep, but as I grew older, I just learned to appreciate it. And I think that's why, I feel like I could be so versatile because I just grew up on so many different kinds of music.
Right. Like, for example, I know you actually went through your pop phase after that, which, thank goodness, because I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, like, being 6 years old, my mom is not playing, at the time. She wasn't putting me on NWA and stuff like that. She was playing, pop stations.
Yeah, definitely.
And, me not knowing what rap is, I fell in love with pop just because it was all the music I knew. Besides that and the Spanish stuff they played every weekend.
Definitely.
At home. But, so I just love music.
Yeah.
And that's all the music I knew. So I loved pop music until I heard rap, and then from there,
Definitely. And I know that was actually with the that Grammy Rap nominees 2000 compilation album.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been highly publicized that it was Eminem's My Name Is that
Yeah.
inspired you to start rapping in the first place.
Yeah.
But one thing that I found interesting about that though is that was track number 2, whereas Busta Rhymes, who I know you've hung around a bit and actually had a skit on your first mixtape kind of bigging you up,
Right.
he had the opening track on there. So
Right.
did you just like skip over it, or
No, I
what was it
remember-
about M?
I like that song too, but the Eminem, it was just the stuff this guy was saying.
Yeah.
It was just like me being a kid and this guy just saying all this ignorant stuff that I don't even understand at the time. It was just, and then it was just like, it had me asking my cousin certain things like, yo, what does this mean? What's
Yeah.
this? What's this? I remember asking her what half of the verses meant.
Right.
And she's looking at me, giving me the answers, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, I want to be like, I want to be like him.
And because you were also really feeling like his Guilty Conscience song on there as well.
Right, yes, which I think was track 6.
Yeah.
So that kind of was like, man, this is my favorite rap. I want to be just like him. I want to do what he does.
Definitely. What types of chores were you doing at your parents' laundromat in exchange for CDs when you were younger?
Oh, man. I wasn't even really doing anything just because I was so young. My parents would just force me to go.
Okay.
And they'd make me think that by going, I was really working.
Yeah.
So I guess they were trying to teach me to work early. So I'd kind of just sit there and just watch a camera all day.
Okay. Yeah.
And every time I wanted a CD, I would go, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that's how I got the Dipset album,
Yeah.
bunch of Jay-Z albums.
Didn't you have one part-time job at one point as well, or was that it?
Yes, no. Well, no, that wasn't really a job. I was
Right.
like 9. I was like legit.
Yeah.
I was like 9, 10 years old. My only job other than music was KFC. I was 15.
really?
15.
Wow.
I worked there for about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And from what I understand, you spent the majority of that money just on shoes or
On
whatever.
sneakers, yeah.
To the point where at one point you even had to sell a pair to be able to go out on a date.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah. I remember it was like, sneakers was like gold.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, when I buy the sneaker, I knew that if I ever needed the money that bad, I knew I could flip them, especially, around where I grew up. Like, we was just all in the sneakers.
Yeah.
So it was...
What all was able to afford? Because it was a pair of like Olympic 6s.
Man, I used to get everything that
Okay.
used to come out until I needed to sell it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
what kind of date was that able to afford though?
what do you mean?
Selling the shoes.
Man, I've always had like kind of expensive girls, so it was
Okay.
kind of like
Yeah.
I used to have to let go of stuff I didn't want to.
Right.
My biggest regret is probably like I think my Bordeaux 7s.
Okay.
I let go for like $110,
Oh wow.
and I was like, man,
Yeah.
and I wore them like twice.
Yeah. And I know that nowadays you don't see no limit, as you indicate in your latest single, inspired in part by Master P,
Right.
who I saw actually reached out to you afterwards.
Yeah, that was dope.
Pretty
That was
crazy.
dope. That was dope.
Of course, he had that famous gold tank back in the day, but you actually have a tank in your arsenal as well over here. Your best friend and hype man, Good Luck Tank.
Yeah.
Ironically, though, is it true that you actually came to his defense in his first fight?
Yeah. Actually, Tank first fight. After school, we was all walking, and it was kind of like prepared.
Yeah.
And they got down to the ground, and I think he might have had Tank in a headlock, and I kicked him in the head.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, apparently the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because didn't your dad actually spend some time as a bodyguard for a royal family out in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Shout out to Royal Dollar. They kind of were the first people to really, kind of help me with my music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were living out in Cairo at the time specifically.
Yeah.
How did that, experience differ from living out here? Or were you too young to really remember?
No, I do remember I went to a universal school. So the kids spoke English. It was kids from all different countries. And I remember having, I think, like, security used to like take us to school only because
Wow.
like I was American and
Yeah.
and yeah, it's kind of different over there. And we used to just go to the pyramids like every weekend. My father took me to the pyramids.
Rode camels too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Egypt is beautiful.
Definitely. Probably the biggest hump that you've gotten over, though, for those who don't know, was the suicidal depression.
Yeah.
Now that you've been able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, assuming that you have, is there anything that you've learned either about yourself or just life in general, having gone through that you might be willing to share?
Oh man, I learned something new about myself every day.
Yeah.
And it's really like I've kind of just really realized that there's really no limit to like what you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the whole suicide thing. What a lot of people don't know, that was a year ago.
Oh, that soon?
That was a year ago, and then to be able to just put that into my music and tell my story with it, and put out 2 projects and be on a tour this big, and it's like a blessing. It's just like, it can really happen when you just have that positive mind state.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's something I'm here to do. And
Absolutely.
Coming in as a hip hop kid, I got big goals and I got a lot of big shit I'm gonna do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Lastly, at this point in your career, do you in any way consider music your life?
Yeah, music is my everything, man. Yeah, music is my everything since I was 8 years old. It was my only dream. Before that, though, my only other dream was like an astronaut. But once I discovered rap, it's all I ever wanted to do, and it's become my everything. And it's been times when I've just been at the bottom and at the lowest point of my life, and it's just been my reason to keep going. And it's kind of the way I could just vent and meditate and just kind of tell my story and open up through the music. So music is everything to me, man.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank y'all, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Great chatting with you.
I appreciate it, man.
Best wishes with everything
Thank
coming
you,
your way. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there watching?
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm a big fan of the site. I remember in school in the library, I'd go around proxies to go on Hot New Hip Hop and just pee the music. So I appreciate it, and definitely look out for No Hard Feelings. It's the new project coming out. It's probably gonna be one of the craziest indie projects of the year.
Yeah. There you have it.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Bizzy Crook.
Bizzy Crook. Good luck. We out here, West Miramar, 305-239. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Since y'all been in the music industry, what have y'all learned so far?
Learn to stay patient, learn to be patient, and have consistent music.
Shit, I learned. It's loyalty between us.
That was the first time that I actually got asked, to be part of a track where it's like, can you hang with the guys, And even though it was more of a like locally thing, like Murder Worth, which is Fort Worth, and it's a smaller town in Texas, I felt happy to be, because I had just moved.
I had some people that I just, came up with to just do some stuff on the tour, which is cool, and having some fun, man. We've been bringing out guests. I try to always incorporate the city as much as possible, whether, I rock something from the team or bring somebody from one of the teams out or bring one, an artist from the city popping out. And we've had Macklemore come out in Seattle. We had YG come out in LA. We had Ferg come out now in New York.